Racing, Advait Deodhar leading the charge up towards Paddock Hill Bend. Tobias Dowenhauer settling into second position. Justin Coots bounces off the curb in third place. Deodhar moving over to protect that all-important inside line as they head up towards Druids for the first time. But victory lane earlier on over the start-finish line they'll go. Tobias Dowenhauer is not letting Advait Deodhar get away. So onto the brakes in towards the first corner. Advait bounces off the curbs as Tobias Dowenhauer looks to just try and get a better run coming out of the corner. Third place is Justin Coots. Fourth is Alberto Panebianco. So he'll be the leading rookie that we've got in the field at the moment. But he's got Francesco Garisto at the wheel of the Shadow right behind him. So top 5 cars on the grid. Still the top 5 cars in this race. So Advait Deodhar leading the way. He did have 0.3 of a second gap between himself and Tobias Dowenhauer. 20 laps still to go, and Advait Deodhar has got it all to do again on the charge up towards Paddock Hill Bend to try and fend off the aspirations of Tobias Dowenhauer, who would, I'm sure, like to try and grab the lead of the race. But now as the green flag flies, good restart from Advait Deodhar. Really, really good restart, and not a bad restart from Martin Dubeck either.
Exactly, he chose the around to go around the outside better. I think he moved up to P6 there now.
Yeah, let's have a quick look now. Advait Deodhar under pressure, should get the door closed on Tobias Dowenhauer. We've got Alberto Panebianco trying to get round the outside of Justin Coots to pick up third position. He's gone round the outside at Druids, gives him the inside for turn number 3, and then diving up the inside comes Francesco Garisto. But Advait Deodhar has again converted that pole in reality for the restart back into the lead of the race, and again looming ever large in his mirrors is the number 50 Hendrix Ford in the hands of the German driver, which is Tobias Dowenhauer. Those two have already put a little bit of daylight between themselves. So Advait Deodhar coming under pressure all of the time as Tobias Dowenhauer looks one way, looks the other, nose to tail as they come in towards the braking area for Clearways corner, then on towards Clark Curve. Really important corner, as you suggested. You want to try and get the car accelerating out of it, but it drops away and therefore you lose the rear end grip at the same time.
Exactly, and at the same time you can tell that Advait is watching his mirrors so badly now. I think he's trying to defend his position a little bit too much. Dowenhauer is actually is getting the maximum out of it.
Yeah, I've been hugely impressed since Tobias Dowenhauer made his debut in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. He sort of came in and was on it straight away, wasn't it? Whereas it's been more of an evolution for Advait Deodhar, who's just got better and better and better and better. But he is now absolutely on a par with the driver that's hunting him down, Tobias Dowenhauer. They're not really being caught by Alberto Panebianco though in third, are they?
It's interesting to see how good the traction is of the leader there. I think the 56 car has an enormous amount of traction. When you see him pull out of Clearways, you can see that he's pulling away a little bit from the German. Then by the time we get to the braking zone, I think the 50 car is a little bit better. So different setups, I think. Let's see who can manage the tires best by the end of the race. This
is the half distance lap as well, so we are on lap number 15 now of the scheduled 30. Slightly tighter line taking in by Advait Deodhar. You spotted something in the distance, Mark.
Yeah.
Advait Deodhar still under pressure. Exactly a third of a second was separating Advait Deodhar from Tobias Dowenhauer. Now mid-corner there, a slide again mid-corner there.
He had a big oversteer moment there as he went down on the power coming out of Druids. You can tell when you look at his front wheels coming down the hill when he turns into Graham Hillbank. Car's actually getting a lot of understeer there as he tries to get his momentum through the corner. And then when he puts the power down, that understeer goes over into an oversteer on power.
And how difficult is that to control as a driver? Is that something you just end up having to approach the corner a little bit slower, get on the gas that little bit later?
It's very easy to say when you're outside of the car to say like, oh, go a little bit more progressive on the power, but that's not what you want to do, is it?
No, that's the last thing that you're thinking about, isn't it? And of course, for Advait Deodhar, he's not really been in this position before, has he? Where he is in the lead of a race, looking to try and hang on to it, to try and secure his first career victory. That's pressure in itself, isn't it?
That would be great, because I spoke to him over the winter, and you know, he hasn't been racing much recently, also because of obviously the COVID-19 situation. But his career has been going up and down, hasn't always kept the right momentum, but it's good to see the guy leading this race.
Now what Advait Deodhar needs is to meet this traffic that's just up the road in the right place and not the wrong place. It's Alina Leudnegger who is going to be the first of those that will get picked off. But then it will be Matthias Hauer, and I think Ariana Casserly was just ahead of that. They're all busy fighting for position, and that is going to be 17th, 18th and 19th places that they are coming up against. And for Advait Deodhar, he can't afford to meet any of them in the wrong position. He just catches Alina Leubniger's number 12 Solaris Motorsport car heading through Paddock Hill Bend, gets past Alina. Tobias Downhauer will sneak through, so that's the first of the back markers dealt with, but they've still got 2 more, Mark, to deal with.
Yeah, that's the hard work as well on a track like Brands Hatch Indy. You know, there's a lot of traffic coming up, but you know, luckily for him, he's got he even takes the hand off the wheel to wave at the back marker. I think he should better focus now on trying to get his head down, try to not make any mistakes and get that win sorted out.
Absolutely, yeah. Ariana Casserly uses all of her experience to make sure that she is out of harm's way. It doesn't affect her Cal Racing teammate or the Hendricks Racing Ford of Tobias Downhauer that still sits there in second place. Laps are running out though now. That is now 26 laps that are completed. Tobias Downhauer has lost maybe a little bit of time through those back markers relative to Advait Deodhar.
I think that last exit there when Deodhar actually passed Ariana on the exit of clearways, or better on the entry of clearways, I think it made the exit of clearways difficult for Downhauer. So
because he would, at that point, he'd be wanting to let the car drift and get on the power, and he was so up towards Paddock Hill Bend. They are now on to lap number 28. So this one and 2 more thereafter between Advait Deodhar and potentially his first career win in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. There's still going to be potentially a little bit of traffic to deal with as well, and that's the Portuguese driver Miguel Gomez, who is new to the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, that may well have to be dealt with. And again, some of this all might just come down to where you meet the back markers. There's plenty of twiddly parts at Brands Hatch. There aren't many big long straights, and it's the straights really where you want to get past the back markers, so we'll have to wait and see. So there's Gomez just ahead. Now is Advait Deodhar going to clear that car before they get towards Paddock Hill Bend? He's not, is he? He's going to have to deal with it probably on the run in towards Druids. So
still the fastest lap is for Deodhar at 50.249, so if it stays like that, he'll be starting from pole again tomorrow. We'll have Simon Pilate, I think, next to him.
There he goes. Advait Deodhar is up the inside of Miguel Gomez. Tobias Downhauer follows through, but again he's just going to lose a little bit of time because he couldn't get on the power to the same degree coming out of Druids. So that is just playing slightly into the hands of our race leader. There was exactly half a second almost between the pair of them as they came over the start-finish line. They are 6 seconds up the road from the 3rd place car of Francesco Garisto, so they can have a little bit of a squabble if they want and slow each other up over the course of this final lap and not get caught. But if you're Tobias Downhauer, do you think my main championship rivals are behind me now? I'll settle for the 2nd place rather than the win.
I think he has to. He's been on the rear end of Deodhar for most of the race and didn't really see any opportunity. So on this last lap, he has to make sure that he takes it on the safe side and collects his points. Very important for the championship.
Very, very important for the championship. Yeah, 40 for a race win, 35 if you're 2nd, 34 if you're 3rd, and it drops down by a single point thereafter. Don't forget there are also 4 extra points for the driver that gains the most positions from their starting position on the grid to their finishing position. I'm not sure where those additional 4 points are going just as yet, but again they all count towards the championship. But for Advait Deodhar, up towards the final corner, this is the final lap, and as he heads out in the final corner, it looks as though it is going to be a first career pole earlier on in the day for Advait Deodhar, and he converts it into a first career win. And Mark, he led every lap as well. Good solid performance for Advait.
Yeah, he did, and his lap times were pretty solid as well, very consistent. I have to say the last couple of laps they started losing about 2-3 tenths, maybe because of traffic and getting out of the rhythm. But yeah, I think the top 3 is a deserved top 3 there. The guys did a pretty good job. Had a solid race, very consistent. Some brave moves there from Simon Pilate and Francesco Garisto, which made it for interesting racing, I think.
Yeah, so congratulations to Advait Deodhar. He claims the win. We won't have a graphic that will give you the results, but the win goes the way of the number 56 Cal Racing Ford. Luigi Veronese. 9th was Vladimir Joitsis, and completing the top 10 was number 19 Nave Talor. In 11th place was a leading legend driver home, which was Max Lancer at the wheel of the number 88 car. In the end for your car, Sean Hollenby. 16th was Miguel Gomez. 17th, and the win in the Lady Trophy goes the way of Ariana Casserly. And the final 2 finishers were number 64 Matthias Hauer and number 12 Alina Leubniger. Another good race, some good squabbles in there, Mark, and a fairly clean one at that.
Yeah, it was a good one, and like I said, there was quite some sensation up front there. You see Advait is pretty happy there with his win. as he's getting out of the car. I'm actually pretty impressed with Sean as well, as he did a 50.5 as a lap time after only having done a number of laps this morning and yesterday. Fastest lap is only 0.3 faster, so I think Sean has been making really good progress during that race there.
Absolutely, and more seat time in a car that you've not driven since, what was the last one he did? Probably, was it Hockenheim, or was it
19, right?
19, I think it was for Racing Total stroke Marco Stieg Motorsport, wasn't it? I think it was the last time we saw him out. So there into victory lane for the first time in his NASCAR career goes Advait Deodhar. He is based just down the road in the city in London, and that is going to mean a huge amount to him. He was actually quite emotional and was really pumped up after a pole position, but that win, there's nothing like that first win. It's the hardest one, isn't it, the first one, Mark?
It is, for sure, and I think it's the first one for him on an international level as well. So hopefully this get his career going.
Let's hope so, let's hope so. And as you said, he'll start from pole position tomorrow, and all he needs to do is what he did today, really.
Yeah, exactly the same thing.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see. Are you hanging around, Mark? You're not going to go and see the team? You're going to hang around while we hopefully get a word with our race winner in a short while? Yeah, there we go. There's his partner. Big hugs all round. They won't be celebrating tonight. They'll have to leave that until tomorrow. But yeah, that is going to mean one heck of a lot to Advait Deodhar. He joined me in the commentary box earlier on for your race, Mark, and who'd have thought a few hours later he'd be taking the number 56 to victory lane. He did say he thought he might have to drive a defensive race, and he did to a degree, but he never really had to worry too much because he always just seemed to have enough of a gap between himself and Tobias Dauenhauer.
Yeah, I think he controlled it really well. He played his game well on getting a good exit out of the slower corners, making sure that he had the right traction. Like I said, at one point he was looking in his mirrors a little bit too much, but no, he did an awesome job. He's very much deserving this first win here.
So here he is, he's out of the car and is, I think, very shortly going to pop on the Hoosier hat, and then Hadrian Dupin, who is our roving reporter down there in the pit lane, should be able to grab a word with our race winner, Advait Deodhar. His first career win, big smile on his face, had to work for it, didn't put a foot wrong, and hopefully we can grab a word in a second with our race winner.
There was a lot of pressure because Tobias was less than a second behind us through the race, and I couldn't be happy. A great job to the team. What a fantastic car, and I couldn't be.
Hey, what an awesome day! I'm so happy.
You will remember this race in Brands Hatch
For the rest of my life, I will never forget this. Oh my God!
Congratulations, Advait.
Thank you so much.
So great to hear from Advait Deodhar. When you've just claimed your first win, those emotions, Mark, you know, it's a very special moment, isn't it?
It is a very special moment, especially, you know, in harder times as it is now because of COVID. It's pretty hard to motivate your sponsors and partners to keep going. There's no public allowed at races, so it's all behind closed doors. So, you know, your return that you can give to your investors is rather low in those days. But like we said earlier, it's freeing up again. It's getting better, and it's good for drivers like Advait, who have been battling, you know, for a number of years, getting all their deals together and being able to race and then win a race.
Well, Tobias has worked it out already. And the win, proudly carrying the Indian flag, is Advait Deodhar. There they go, they've worked it out there. So we've got them all the right drivers now, on the right steps of the podium, and now it's time for the national anthem of the winning driver. So there we go, Advait Deodhar with his first overall win in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. The drivers have to present themselves with their trophies. The national anthems have been played, the official photographs just to be taken, and then we'll see as to whether they make merry with the champagne or save the overalls for tomorrow. But that is one happy chap on the top step of the podium. Tobias Downhour won't be too disappointed either, because his main championship rivals in the early stage of the 2021 season did finish behind him in the race. So trophies held aloft for the photographs to be taken. Francesco Garisto in the white overalls, Tobias Downhour in the black overalls, and in the centre of your screen is Advait Deodhar. And now it's time for them to spray the champagne on the podium. And well, for Advait Deodhar, that champagne is going to taste very sweet indeed, isn't it?
That's going to be one pair of smelly overalls tomorrow, Mark, when they get in the car again for the Elite 2 race. It's good to see the joy of the three drivers there being on the podium.
And I think he said it was Francesco Garisto's first podium. It's his second podium. I think he corrected that when he was speaking to Hadrian. Stings as well, doesn't it, when it gets in the eyes, that champagne, Mark? Exactly. So there we go, a well-earned drink for Advait Deodhar. They will vacate the podium, and then we will get the podium redressed, ready for our next podium presentation. So we have separate podiums for overall, for rookie, for legend, and we will have the winner of the lady trophy heading onto the podium, and we'll try and hang around for all of those podiums at Brands Hatch before we then cut the stream, say goodbye for today, and of course start to look forward to day 2, which will be tomorrow here at Brands Hatch. So the final few photographs taken, our top 3 in the race overall in the first of the 2 Euro NASCAR 2 division races, making their way off the podium. Out will come the next batch of trophies, and then we will get our next trophy presentation underway, which will just be a quicker affair because it will just be the trophies. There'll be no champagne, there'll be no national anthem for the winning driver either. So out onto the podium comes Eric Vardem, who finished in 3rd place in the Legend Trophy for those drivers aged 40 and over. 2nd place goes the way of the Ukrainian Yevgen Sokolovsky for Marco Steep Motorsport. And the winner of the Legend Trophy might have run wide on the first lap of the race, Mark, and got grass in the grills, but Max Lancer put it right, didn't he? Came home to claim the win in the Legend Trophy.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we said, you know, they're looking at this kind of podium, but also for the overall results. And I think in the overall results, he lost it all on that first lap. Dropped down a couple of places. Put him in a very difficult position as well to put a lap time down for his grid position for tomorrow. I think he did a 50.7 if my memory is correct, looking at the results. So yeah, I mean, that's about 5/10 off, and I think that's not because of the performance of the car or driver, it's just track position that caused that.
Yeah, so we had an Indian, a German and an Italian on our first podium. The second podium was a Finnish driver, a Ukrainian and an Italian. It goes to show, doesn't it, the different nationalities that are all represented here. And then for our rookie podium, what are we going to get on the rookie podium? We're going to get an Italian, a Portuguese driver and an Austrian, I think, potentially.
Having said that, I think it's a pretty great job that FJ is putting on in putting all those nationalities together in difficult times like we had last year and this year. And the show keeps on going on, and I think NASCAR is really doing a good job at it.
Jerome Galpin and the team do a fantastic job. So there is Advait Deodhar. We should just be able to see the other podium that's going on just above it. For today, we have more racing coming up tomorrow here at Brands Hatch. Our stream will go live with the build-up to the Euro NASCAR Pro race just before 1:45 British summertime. That, of course, is going to be an hour later in Central European time. But from the whole of everybody here involved with Euro NASCAR here at Brands Hatch, thanks for joining us today. We'll see you here tomorrow. Until then, it's goodbye.